Hello, welcome back, Blackstar1 here. Today we're going to be looking at this Darth Vader case, as well as its contents, which includes 30 old 1978 to 1977 to 1980 action figures. So, without further ado, let's look at the outside. Now we'll get through this part pretty quick. It's just the outside of a case, so it's not going to be too extravagant. It's what's inside that's really important. But it is a large Darth Vader shaped case. There was also a chrome gold C-3PO case, which I really want to find someday because it's super cool. But this one is also really cool. He's a bit dusty, as you can see. Black shows dust very well. But he has 3 clips, one on his head and one on the sides of his helmet to hold him together. And then the other side is just pretty simple. It just has a carrying handle right here. And you can open it up by just opening all 3 clips. I already have these 2 undone. And opening it up. Now, you want to have the inserts in there, which I didn't put them back in because if not, the figures may fall out. But opening it up, we can see what everybody's really here for. The action figures, in which I have 30 of them. I have all of the ones from the first line, or I guess the first wave of them. And then most of the ones from the second, I believe. And then I'm missing a couple from the third and the fourth and all that. But we can see here, they're all held in rows, going 3, 5, 7, and then same on the other side. And they are held in using these, which can come out. I'll take out one of the smaller ones because it's easier to put back in. But these can be taken out if you need to clean it or if you need to do something like that without wrecking the stickers. And then they can just slot in with some little bars on either end. If I can do it on camera, that would be nice, but I'm very... There we go. Nice. And, yeah, it came with a sticker sheet, which would have all the stickers on it for all the different figures at the time. I obviously have some of the newer ones in there that wouldn't have come on here, but you can see quite a few stickers here, and it's a pretty hard to find thing, this sticker sheet, because it's always either thrown out or ripped apart. And this one is actually really good condition. It's just missing one of each because, well, they're on the case. It also comes with an insert that I previously talked about, and this is actually another one of the hard to find things about this, because it is cardboard. It's simply cardboard. As you can see, mine isn't in perfect condition, but for the age and for it being really hard to find, it's pretty good, for me at least. I'm happy with it. And then on the back, it has the obverse of the figures that would be there. I'm missing that one, unfortunately. I really want that one, so hopefully I find that someday. As well as these droids. So I'll show you what I am missing. Those droids, that Princess Leia, and this droid. This is the one I really want, because that's from one of the first waves. But yeah, let's get on to the figures, of which we'll look through all 30 of them. I guess the easiest way to do this would be going from here to here, and then up to here. And the first figure in this thing is Chewbacca. And, yeah, he's a bit goofy looking. I always thought he was a bit goofy looking with those bright blue eyes. But he looks pretty cool. He has his bandolier on, his little bag here, and he would come with a crossbow, or not a crossbow, but the laser crossbow, as we'll call it. But a bowcaster. But I don't have that. It's missing, so unfortunately, we don't have that for him. But he's a pretty cool figure. I'll show all the accessories at the end as well. I won't show them with the figure, but they'll be at the end. They're all pretty similar, most of them. The next figure in this set is a really cool one. This is IG-88, and he has very nice silver, not chrome silver, but silver body, and some very nice machine details. As you can see, he is a robot, so he's going to be quite weird looking and goofy in terms of how many details there are on him. But you can see his head, almost all the figures have heads that move. Some of them don't, such as most of the, or all of the Imperial troopers, and then Chewbacca doesn't either. But yeah, he's pretty cool. I quite like this one. Next we'll be looking at Old Ben Kenobi, or just Obi-Wan Kenobi. And he is one of the figures that comes with a cape. Now this cape is a bit harder to find, and mine's in pretty good condition. It's a bit wrinkled and all that, but it's not ripped or anything. This is the nice orange-red color. I quite like that color. He also has this telescoping lightsaber, and it has the tip on it, which is a really important part of it because they always get cut off. But yeah, a very cool figure, and this has the gray hair. There was also a variant with white hair, as you may know. The next figure here, which it may be a bit hard to get all the stuff on camera, is C-3PO, and the reason I say that is because he's chrome and super reflective. He's a nice chrome gold, although he may look chrome silver on camera. He's really cool looking. This is the same type of chrome that would be on the C-3PO case, and I haven't actually seen a picture of it. I need to look that up now. You know what? We'll put that on the end card. But yeah, this is a pretty cool figure. I just really like him. He has a magnet on his back, likely for a play feature in a set, or that's just there for some reason. But yeah, he's pretty cool. Next up, we have Luke Skywalker in his X-Wing pilot uniform. And yeah, he's Luke Skywalker in an X-Wing pilot uniform. That's all I really have to say. He's pretty nice looking. He has some nice little details on his one side of his leg, which I think is interesting. Attention to detail there. He has a nice white vest and just some simple stuff like that. His head can move, which is very nice, and he's pretty cool. Moving on to one of my personal favorite minifigures, this is Boba Fett, and he is as you would see him in the holiday special from, I believe, 1978 or something like that. And it would be before he actually appeared in a movie, which is kind of interesting. But he is his very nice, like sand blue color, as you could call it, I guess, or just very light blue, gray blue, whatever you'd call this color. And he has some pretty nice uniform details. He's just a very cool figure. He has a jetpack. If you know, there's a prototype version of him with a shootable little thing here. As you can see, this one is actually stuck to the actual jetpack. It's like glued in there or whatever they did to it to make it unshootable. But the mechanism would be in this little slot here. And they're worth a couple $1,000s if you find one. So if you do, congratulations. But he's a pretty cool figure. I quite like him. The next figure in the set is the Star Destroyer Commander. He's also called a Death Squad Commando, I believe. Or at least that's where I read somewhere at one point. But he's pretty cool. He's just Imperial, like, officer or commander or something like that. He's pretty nice. And he has his bowling ball helmet, as I call it. Yeah, pretty simple figure, but pretty cool. Next up, we have the most played with figure in this entire thing, and it is Farm Boy Luke with his extendable lightsaber as well, which looks pretty cool. His is missing the tip, unfortunately, but he is in pretty good condition otherwise. His body is a bit yellowed and dirty, though, and yeah, he's just a cool figure. He's also extremely hard to get in good condition for a good price, being on average about $100, which is kind of interesting. Mine's obviously not in good condition, or great condition anyway, but yeah, pretty cool. The next figure in the set is Greedo, of course. Did he shoot first or did Han shoot first? Nobody knows. But yeah, he's Greedo, and he would have also gone with the Cantina set, which we'll see a bunch of figures from that in just a second. But yeah, pretty simple, pretty nice. And next up, we have Princess Leia, the figure with the smallest blaster, which we'll be looking at out of all the figures, if it will focus. And she's pretty cool. Now, normally, this is why I have this here, she would come with a white cape like Obi-Wan's, but in white. I don't have that, unfortunately. I never did, so that's unfortunate. But someday I hope to find that. Not for an outrageous price. But yeah, she's just a pretty cool figure. I quite like her, and she's a bit different from most of the rest. Most of the English. As I said, we'll be getting into some Cantina figures, and this is one of them. This is Walrusman, and he's kind of like the assistant to the doctor, if you know, the guy that got his hand chopped off, the crazy guy that made zombies, basically. But he has the webbed feet, or whatever you'd call that feet-looking thing, and he has one hand open, and then one hand for a blaster, which is pretty nice. I do quite like his face, though. Otherwise, he's quite simple, though. Very cool figure. The next figure up is Snaggletooth. Now, this is the red Snaggletooth. There is also a blue Snaggletooth worth hundreds of dollars. This is a red one. I don't have a blue one, obviously. He was a Sears exclusive thing, but he's pretty cool. He has very goofy-looking feet. He's very goofy-looking, and yeah, he's just a pretty nice figure. As with most of the other Cantina figures, he's pretty simple, but I quite like the arm detailing for his clothing. Next up, we have our first Imperial. We have been I guess we have one Imperial before the Death Star, Death Destroyer, whatever guy, the Commando guy. But Stormtrooper. The main bad guy in Star Wars, or I guess the main can't shoot straight guy in Star Wars. But he's pretty cool. He has nice armor, and I quite like his armor detailing. It's pretty simple, but it's nice. And he has the different knee on either side, which also is pretty nice detail. He can't move his head. He's one of the Imperials, so most of the Imperial troopers can't move their heads. But yeah, very cool figure, and I'm definitely always liked these guys. Thought they were always pretty cool. And we are now on to the final Cantina figure. This is the Hammerhead. Nearly forgot his name. Hammerhead. And he has a very nice hammerhead, as you would guess. Look at that. Very nice. He has a blue shirt and these massive tree stump legs that look pretty cool. Yeah, very nice. And he just is a very big figure. He's quite large. I think he's quite larger than a normal figure. Yeah, I mean, not too much larger, but a bit larger, which makes sense. He's a quite big character in the show. Or, yeah. Our next Chrome figure, being R2-D2 now, is up. And you can see a very nice chrome headpiece. The rest of him is just a normal white, and he's a pretty cool looking figure. This would be a sticker on either side of him, which, if I don't know if you had to apply that. If you did, oof, that's rough. But he's a pretty cool figure. I quite like him, and there was a variant, or not a variant, but a later version of him that had the third little leg with the foot on it that would come out in front. Pretty cool, quite nice chrome. The next figure in the set is Han Solo, one of my personal all-time favorite characters in Star Wars. I don't know why, I've always liked him, but he's really cool. I quite like him, and he even has a nice detail on him with the red stripe down either side of the pant leg, something I never even noticed in the show, but he has it, and he has his nice vest, his white shirt, and this is the small head version, as there was a larger version which looked not as much like Harrison Ford, but is slightly less rare than this one, because this is an earlier version. Did I mention it was a version? Next we have the medical droid, and he's pretty interesting. He is a later figure that I have, I think 1980 or 81, and he's just a pretty nice one. He has a very nice translucent body, and I think that's quite interesting. This little respirator thing, which was actually an Elvis microphone, or the microphone Elvis used, or a version of it, obviously, but I dropped him. A pretty cool little detail there. I quite like this figure. I think he's pretty cool. Another version of Han Solo in his Hoth battle gear, this time with some very nice legs. I quite like those legs. And a very nice blue coat, as well as a little hood. Very nice figure. Getting into the snowtroopers, we have the snowtrooper, and he's a snowtrooper. He has a very nice little bottom piece. Why can't I think of the word? Vinyl bottom waist cape. There we go. And he can't move his head. He's an Imperial trooper, so he can't move his head, of course. And yeah, pretty cool figure. The next figure in the set is the AT-AT pilot, or AT-AT pilot, whatever you want to call it. And he's pretty cool. He has some nice back detailing with the red. I quite like that. And he's just pretty simple. He does look a bit stubby because his helmet is so big, and he can't move his neck. So he looks a bit goofy looking, but he's pretty cool. I quite like him. The next figure in the set from the original wave, or one of the last ones from the original wave that I have to show, is the Sand Person. And he has a very nice tan cape. Now, he would come with one of those clubs you'd see in the Book of Boba Fett as well. I don't have it, unfortunately. That's one of the missing things that I have. But he's a pretty good figure. I quite like him. And he's called Sand People, despite there only being one. Very nice. The next figure is the Jawa, of course. And he's a cloth cape version. There is a version with a vinyl cape that's worth, again, hundreds of dollars. So, very nice. But this one, he's the cloth cape. He has a very simple underneath body. And, yeah, you can see his eyes under there. He comes with a small little blaster as well, which is exclusive to him. Next up, we have Lando Calrissian, or Lando Calrissian, and he's really cool. I quite like him. He has another one of those nice vinyl capes that I like so much. And, yeah, it's a unique cape. It doesn't come in any other figures, and it's a nice color. I think all the capes that they have are exclusive to the figures, but they're really cool. I quite like this guy, and He's just very nice with that mustache especially. I like the mustache. The next figure in the set is the Rebel Snow Trooper. So it would be or Rebel Snow Soldier. It's not a trooper, it's a soldier. He's pretty cool. I quite like him. He has a very similar leg pattern to the bottom or the top of Han Solo's pants for this. But he's a really cool one. I quite like him. He just has some interesting little details on him, and I quite like that about him. I think this is a holster on his side. It looks a bit weird, but I think it's a holster on his side. Very nice. The next figure is quite a big one, actually. I don't think he's too much larger in terms of size, but his arms are what makes him look much larger, and his body are both elongated slightly to give him a longer look, and I think that works pretty well. He's pretty cool. I quite like him. It is Bossk. I don't know if I said his name. He has a very interesting skin tone from his arms to his head, which I don't know why they did that, but they did. And yeah, he's just in a nice pale orange or pale yellow uniform with this little pilot's vest looking thing on. Very nice. And the next figure up is another mustached figure. If it'll focus, why won't it focus? There we go. A mustache figure, the Bespin Security Force, and he's very nice. He has a very nice like navy blue, dark blue uniform with some gold accents and red cuffs on his arms because red cuffs are nice. As I said, very nice mustache and not too much otherwise. Next up, we have another Luke Skywalker. This is the Bespin Fatigues version of Luke Skywalker. There are 3 versions total that I have, but he's pretty cool. He's in his Bespin Fatigues. He would have come with a very nice lightsaber, a non-telescoping lightsaber, just a simple handheld one, and he also came with a blaster. But he's pretty cool, as I showed. He has a holster on his side as well. Very nice. And the next figure in the set is the Ugnaught. You'll know him if you watched The Mandalorian as Kuiil, he's the same species as this guy, not the specific one, but he's an Ugnaught. He has a very nice pig-like nose and some tusks, of course. He has a cloth apron, or I guess apron, and it's very much tied at the back with a big knot. But yeah, this is, I think, the first time they used cloth on these figures. Besides in that rare Jawa, or in the normal Jawa, the rare one has a vinyl cape. But yeah, pretty cool. And the next figure up, and the second to last figure actually, is this guy. This is the Assistant Medical Droid FX7. Definitely didn't look at the name on the case for that, but he's pretty cool. He has these 8 arms, I believe they are, on his sides that can all go up, which is pretty cool. They can't go up far, but they can go up. And then he has this one long arm here, which is kind of like a claw. His head can go up and down, as well as it can spin all the way around. And he's just a pretty cool figure. He's a bit goofy, weird, and you don't see him actually in the movie much, but he's pretty cool. And the figure I saved for last, because I thought it was quite fitting, is Darth Vader himself. He comes with another one of these black vinyl capes, and he has a orange, or a red, orangish red, telescoping lightsaber, and it also has the tip on it, and it's a very cool looking figure. You can see that it does get a bit dirty in the face area, from just dust over time, but he's a very cool figure. Some very nice detailing, like the chest, the upper armor, and just looks very nice. One of my favorites. Another figure in this in this thing is Yoda. And he is the older version, as he has a lighter green skin tone. The newer ones have a slightly more olive green skin tone. And he comes with a cane, a snake, a cloth robe, and then a belt as well, which is pretty cool. But he's a pretty cool figure. He's a bit hard to find. He's a bit expensive as well. I forget exactly the price, but he's a pretty cool figure. I quite like him. I'll turn him around a bit. You can see his belt on his back as well. Has a bit silver detailing. And yeah, you can actually take all his accessories off. I'm not going to do it now, but you can even take his cloth off. So, very nice. Now that we have looked at all the great figures in the set, and I don't think there's a single bad figure, I like all of them, we can get into the accessories. And this is actually where I store Yoda. I maybe should store the Ugnaught there as well, but I don't think they both fit. It's the accessories drawer, or the accessory storage chamber as they call it. and it has the Empire Strikes Back on there. That's how you know it's 19. It would be 1979 then, wouldn't it? Or 1980. I forget what year this one came out. I think 1980 would be, not 1978, as I said previously. But you can see there's all ton of accessories in there, and I'm going to take them out and show you. And these are all the accessories, not counting the ones on Yoda or the what was it? The Final Capes. I quite like all of them. There's a ton of them, and I think they look pretty cool. As you can see, there are a lot of duplicate ones. These ones in the middle are non-duplicate. They are exclusive, and these are non-weapon accessories. But you can see a lot of Stormtrooper blasters, a lot of these Rebel blasters, and some just common Han Solo blasters that were in a couple sets. Or not sets, they would be in figures. But there's this big blaster, which is a pretty cool one as well. Some like more sniper rifle blasters, or this looks like an MG32 or MG43. I forget which one is which. And then this is the smallest one, Princess Leia's blaster, which is extremely easy to lose. I'm lucky I still have it, but very cool. This Jabba blaster, and this goes to the AT-AT pilot, which is kind of interesting. And you can see how they all just fit in there, including Yoda, and this little clip would go, or this little bar would go into this hole and close it shut. Since it is a bit stressed and old, it doesn't shut all the way unless you really push it. But yeah, it's a pretty cool little thing. But yeah, I do hope you enjoyed. I really like this stuff, so I hope you do too. I just thought I'd show it since I did show all of them off individually in their own little shorts. About, I think it was September that I did that. But it's a pretty cool thing to have all of them here, and I'm trying to continue to collect all of them, at least from the years that I have, and I'm not that far off, actually. But yeah, I do hope you enjoyed. I shall see you next time, where we'll probably be looking at a Lego set. And sorry, I meant to actually release this in November, probably I think the 26th, or something like that, but I messed it up so catastrophically that I have to redo it. So I do hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you next time. Goodbye.